doesn't usually appear on television as himself because he's created a whole gallery of grotesque characters, the most dreadful of which is a pathetic chat show host who managed to be both incompetent and offensive at the same time. Where does he get his ideas from? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Coogan. Well, Steve, very good. All right. We'll sit down, yes. Well, it is unusual to see you without other people's clothes on. So, are you comfortable being Steve Coogan on the telly?
Not really, no. Good night.
Oh, no. You're the fourth Bee Gee. But you've got lots of different guys. There's obviously Tony Farino, the Portuguese lounge singer. Alan Partridge is always putting his foot in as well. Paul Calf, drunken lout. Yeah. They're all a bit rude, a bit arrogant. Are they all aspects of you, or...?
Paul Calf started out, well, really, I had this job at this factory years ago, and there was this, there was a bloke who worked there.
Called Mick, he talked like that.
And I remember I was sort of like, I'd sit there reading The Guardian, and they'd all sit around reading The Sun, playing cards, and I'd read some interesting article by Hugo Young, something, and chuckle quietly to myself and go, and they'd go,
"What's that you're reading? Is it funny?"
And I go, "Yeah, it's quite funny." And they go,
"Go on, read it out then."
And it'd be some wry observation. I'd go, "The Prime Minister's recent policy," and they go,
"Is that funny?"
And I remember once this guy, and they all took the rise out of me. So I was working at this plant, and there was all these I was sort of loading chemicals into containers and things, and there was one chap, he said, "Mick's coming along now, he's coming along in his stacker truck." He said, his grandma's been knitting in this sweater for years. When he comes past, just have a go at him, just say, "Is your gran finished knitting that sweater for you yet?" You know. And I went, "Oh, OK, I'll join in, I want to be one of the gang, because I'm a student, I want to fit in with these working class people." And so Mick came past in his stacker truck like, "Hey, Mick, has your gran finished knitting that sweater yet?" And he went,
"She lost her arms in a milling machine."
I didn't know. He told me to say it. Right? I turned around, this bloke said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, "I'm going to get you later." And I was leaving the premises later on. He ran up to me like that, and he went, "Ah, we had you go in there, didn't we?"
When you started out in entertainment, were you doing basically impressions?
I was doing impressions, I was doing voiceovers. I saw an advert that said, voiceover artist required to overdub crap early 70s foreign films. And I went off the audition, and I knocked on the door and said, "Is this the interview for overdubbing crap early 70s foreign films?" And a guy came to the door and said, "Yes, come in, sit down. So you want to overdub crap early 70s foreign films, do you?" And I said, "Yes, do you think I'm cut out for the job?" He went, "No, you've got it all wrong. Your voice shouldn't suit you at all. When you lose your temper, it should be like this. Hey, you!"
So was that you when you were a schoolboy, used to do impressions of the teachers?
Yes, I used to stand in front of the mirror and do impressions, amongst other things. Yeah, it was you know, most people were in the bathroom sort of squeezing spots, and I was in there perfecting a Norris McWhirter impression.
Now, in your stage show, which you've taken on tour around the country and now doing in London, you get the full gallery of your characters. So unlike going to see a lot of comedians' stage show, they just come on and talk into a microphone for a couple of hours. You do the whole
I may not
range.
be funny, but I give value for money. You know, there's Tony Farino, Paul Calf, Pauline Calf, Alan Partridge, and another character called Duncan Thicket.
Quite raunchy. I mean, all of your characters are a bit, as I was saying, a bit rude and foul-mouthed, aren't they?
Yeah. It's sort of dumbed down slightly for the stage, because you have to sort of.
Well, theatre goers are more stupid than TV viewers. Is that what you're saying?
Well, mine are. Yeah. You really sometimes on the front row when you're doing a show, there'll be some young chap who's been brought by his parents, and the young chap on the front row clearly thinks I'm fantastic, and his parents think I'm rubbish, right? Yeah. And they're sitting there like this. All the way through, it doesn't matter what I do, and then they're just going like that. And the most I'll get, sometimes I'll like my biggest laugh of the night, and I'll just check to see what their expression is. And I'll get this, it'll change from that to... and that's it,
You've done more sort of straightforward acting. I saw you in the Fix on television. It was a very good drama about... There was not a comedy at all, really, was it?
No, to me, it's like a holiday for me. People say, oh, drama's very serious. That's great. You don't have to make anyone laugh, you know. Just say the lines.
But you were playing a tabloid journalist in that, so were you tempted to make him really hideous?
Well, yes, I could have done, because I don't know if you know, but I hate tabloid journalists.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that because they've written nasty stuff about you, or just as a general policy?
No, I like to think I hated them before they started writing stuff. But no, I could have done. It's very easy, you know, when you're doing something like that to try and... There's a kind of cliche about tabloid journalists about, you know, doing them all sort of oily, sort of oiks, but they're not. They're kind of just like you and me.
Well, do you still do impressions? Because you were really quite young. You were at the sort of Sunday night at the London Palladium with Jimmy Tarbuck doing...
Yes. Yes.
Do you look back on that fondly? Can you...
I just look back on it.
Yes.
Well, I was on Sunday night at the London Palladium. You know, here he is, Steve Coogan. He's a cracking young comic. He's got some lovely, you know. In those days, like he doesn't do jokes. He does observations. Here he is with his observations. I mean, basically, look. Let's be honest. We're trying to find a way to gem in a few impressions here, aren't we, Clive?
Yeah.
Why don't I just reel off about 3 or 4, and then we can move on?
Why are you doing a satire on Alan Partridge?
I used to do Michael Caine, who speaks like... He'd had 2 ways of speaking. One is like that, when he'd shout very loudly, and the other one is when he's getting very emotional. Boys would start the break, and he would start to crack up. And I used to do... There's 3 more.
Yeah.
There's 3 more.
That's a very poor impression. You didn't put the glasses on. You could put glasses on.
I should take them out and go, you know. I can do Ronnie Court, but that was it. Good evening. Yeah, I remember the day I was on... I remember the day I was on Clive Anderson quite clearly. Yeah. Because it was the one day in the year it was the one day in the year when Allied carpets weren't having a sale. I used to do a lot of sort of impressions of voiceover people. The late Brian Glover, who I adored, was sort of cornered the market in very broad northern voice, like, you know, bread's better without taken out. and you know, Chetleys make tea bags. And I thought, he sort of, and the tragedy really was that he was limited in that way, because, you know, he couldn't, for example, say, you know, new Lillettes, very thick wadding, very absorbent. You can wear them all day long and no one knows out about it.
So you could continue his career for him beyond the grave.
Yeah,
Well, I hope I've covered most of the ground there, but there's always questions from the studio. Has anybody got a question for Steve Coogan that I haven't asked? Or even one I have asked, just ask it better. Right over there, gentleman, a sort of rather attractive, almost tartan tie, blue shirt, glasses.
What was in the drawer at the Travel Tavern?
It's very interesting. That's a bit of a kind of a fan question, that. Not going to stalk me afterwards, that's when you know when you succeed, when you really succeeded, when you've got a stalker.
Have you got a stalker?
No, I feel slightly annoyed about that.
Yeah.
So quite like that for a few months.
Yeah. So who do you get, before you answer that question, who do you get sort of after shows? Do you get fans, groupies, autograph hunters?
I do. I get the people who turn up at the stage door. I wish they were groupies. The people who turn up at my stage door, I've got, like, you know, spectacles, anoraks, you know, little sort of bum fluff beards, and that's just the women. Tell you what happened once. I was in a restaurant, and this policeman came in and said, with his uniform, and so he took us out and said, Mr. Coogan? I said, yes. He said, do you own high-performance sports car parked outside? I said, yes. He said, could I have a word, please? I went, oh, OK, what's at the restaurant? And he went into the hallway with me, and he just went, I just want to say I'm a great fan. And I said, will you put my hat on? Can I take a photograph with you? Not really, no. I sort of lost all his authority then. And I put his hat on, put my arm around him. And he took the photograph and he said, and just before he went, oh, word of advice. I thought, oh, well, you know, this is... He went, do a sitcom with that new character, it's very clever. That's the way he said it, so these policemen sort of still speak as policemen. Word of advice.
Meanwhile, your car was being stolen because he was mucking around with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But what's your answer to the question?
The question, which was,
what was in the drawer?
What was in the drawer? Do you know, we don't know what was in the drawer. So the answer is that there is no answer. It's very X-Files,
yes,
isn't it?
Yeah. Or possibly Doctor Who. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
If Alan Partridge was interviewing Clive Anderson, what would he say about him? What would he ask him?
Oh, there you are, you see.
Oh, my God. He might say something like this. He might say something like, Clive, now, we see you on the television, we see your techniques. There's a very fine line, isn't there, between being a little bit cheeky, a little bit wry, and being downright offensive.
Yes.
How do you feel about having strayed beyond...
OK, well, thank you for joining us tonight. Steve Coogan. Thank you, Steve. And, so, well done. Thank you.